And good morning. And good morning. Welcome to Qigong. We're just going to jiggle and shake and jiggle, and get those muscles awake, get that chi moving through our body, get that lymphatic system working. Yeah. I think I remember a while back. Okay, it makes a lot of noise, my new shelf, when I bounce by it. Maybe not that much. It's fine. No, I was talking to a patient recently about the trampolines, right? That were the big rage. I don't know how many years ago, but everybody would like bounce on them. Um, and this is kind of the same thing. And so we can just learn how to kind of incorporate this into every day. When we're gonna like scrub the walls, wash the windows, when you're cooking dinner, like all your chores that you do throughout the day, you can just bounce. We're bouncing. Yeah. And that just really, it does wonders for the body. It really does. I tell all of you these things because I need to remind myself. Because I forget a lot. So we're just going to keep jiggling and shaking. Maybe with me now, just start maybe going around the room in whatever room you're in your house. And, just see what it feels like to just kind of casually walk around while bouncing. Maybe you need to put your keys in the space where the keys go instead of just anywhere. And you can just walk around and look at your house and bounce. Yeah, there we go. Good. Yeah. Oh, okay. So now we're going to bring it back to a little bit more intentional. So feet about shoulder width. Think about finding that center stance, that low back open, that neck extending, that chin tucking in just a little bit. Good. And then we'll let it slow down. We'll come to a stop and come to our center stance. Rooting our breath, breathing deeply into the dantian. And while we're doing this, just getting in touch with your body. Where is it happy? Where does it need some love? Good. And let's go into some circle breaths here. Ready? Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Keep going, letting your breath lead this movement. Closing your eyes. As you inhale, feeling the chi rise up from the earth through the legs, in through the palms, down through the crown of the head, all of that chi going to the center of your body, that lower dantian in the core just below the belly button. Very good. Finish up and meet me back in our center stance. Wonderful. Now we're going to do our raising hands technique. Right? So we inhale as the hands come up to about shoulder height, and we exhale as we bring them back down. To the side, we're just coming up here and then coming back down. Letting your breath lead this movement again. But think about the elbows kind of pulling back first. Good. Today, you're just going to focus on our chi flow. Focus on trying to feel where that chi is at and what happens in our body when we make these movements. So while we do this one, think about as you inhale up, you almost feel yourself sinking into the ground. And as you exhale down, you almost feel yourself kind of rising up. I'm going to accentuate it so you can see. Right? We don't necessarily, we don't want our bodies to move that way. We're going to just keep moving up and down. But you want to have that feeling kind of internally. But now we're going to actually do those things now and make it a little bit bigger. Just like that first movement in the Heaven Nature Gong that we do a lot. We inhale as we sit back, and we exhale as we row the boat forward, right? Our first movement in that form is called boat rowing on a stream of air. You can sort of feel the expression of that chi, of this movement, right, with your chi. Inhaling as you go down and back. Exhaling as you come forward, rolling up that spine. Very good. Keep going. Ready, let's just go back to raising arms and lowering arms. Do me a favor, close your eyes here. See if you can feel that up and down movement with the chi. Like as the arms go up, you can kind of feel the chi sinking. As arms go down, you can kind of feel the body rising. So take a few minutes here, maybe even just play with it a little bit. So you can maybe take the hands all the way up, and what does that feel like? Take it sideways. You can reverse the breathing. As I come up with the hands and inhaling as I bring them in and down. Back to center now. One more nice inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands down. Let's do a circle breath here. Recentering, gathering our chi, rooting into our dantian. Now we'll take both hands and we're going to place them on that dantian. I want you really to focus on breathing into and rooting into this area. One way I like to do that is you can take a little bit wider stance and you can sink down into it. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Deep breaths, feeling your hands pressing on the lower dantian, on that lower abdomen. The palms. Yes, my ringtone is deep and feel the joy. Delia. Connecting to each other and connecting to that dantian. Strong each time. Around. Here. Doing my figure eights right now. Attached to that dantian. Forward, the other one back, and kind of circle around. I'm just going to do it nice and slowly while still breathing. Without keeping that torso upright. Let's do this. Other direction, reversing whichever movement you were doing. In touch with that dantian. Back to center now. Let's do another circle breath. And root to that dantian. Our next movement, we're going to be switching the weight on our legs. So if you want some support, you can stand near a wall. You can bring a chair out if you'd like to hold. We're going to be going from side to side on our legs. Here, rooting in. bring all of your weight onto your left foot. Come up, lift the empty foot out and over. Okay, I think we're going to start just a little bit easier today. So let's just shift our weight back and forth. And to make sure you're fully on this side, whichever leg this is for you, just lift that toe off the ground. And you can tell I kind of fell into it. We want to stay rooted, bring it back, and then shift that weight back over. See, yes, we're nice and rooted. And going to the other side. And while you're on each side, like feel that, play with that a little bit. If you sink down, it's harder on the leg, but you have like you're a little firmer, right? And if you like pull up, like you're a little more unstable. And just kind of feel what it feels like to kind of root through those things. Just changing back and forth of the equilibrium. Is really good for our brain elasticity, right? It's really good for our cognitive health, our longevity, our inner ear. It's just really nice. So as you do that, think about the weight and the connection as being chi, right? We've got lots of chi. This leg also has chi, though. It's just a different kind. Kind of heavy weighted chi. We have light moving chi. We switch. We bring our weight over here. We have really heavy chi. We have light moving chi. So this is yin and yang. You guys are doing great. So let's go ahead and open up those hips. Very good. You go as high as you want. And be near something if you need. Very good. These are nice hip openers, which is great, and we love that. But today we're really focusing on the feeling of that chi and how it's changing from heavy to light, still to active. Wonderful. These are great. Go ahead and finish up and meet us back in center. And let's jiggle and shake again. Doing a lot of kind of slow, still movements. Let's get things moving again and see what that feels like in our bodies. Good. Keep going, keep going. And then come back to our center stance. And recheck in with your body, right? How does it feel after the first time at the beginning of class? Are there places that are still happy? Are there places that still could use some love? Does our breath feel freer and bigger? These are just observations I'm having in my own body. Ooh, it's a diagram day. So the next thing we're going to do is focus on the microcosmic orbit of chi, right? Chi coming from the lower Dantian to the middle and to the upper and back down. And so if it's a diagram day, that means we're going to get to see a diagram. Yay. Okay. Here is a diagram. So this is our dantian. And then this is kind of our middle dantian and our upper dantian, right? And so we want the chi. This is our center meridian, right? It lies kind of like right in the middle of the body. And it comes down. I have that one. Hold on, let me show you one more diagram. Oh, this book, if you like, it is the Qingzhen Wuji Yuan Gong Return to Oneness Qigong of Unconditional Love. I know they still make it. I think they are on different printings of it now. Hold on, there was one more diagram that I saw that is wonderful. Yes, here we go. So what we're focusing on is kind of this kind of dantian here and this middle dantian, right? And then I'm just showing you this because I talk about the feet a lot. But we don't ever really mention like how the chi comes into the feet. It comes in through this point right here and then travels up the legs to the dantian, which is just a side note because that's not what we're going to focus on now. We're just going to focus on this microcosmic orbit of chi. So our chi is here in our dantian, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of send it out down the bottom, out the perineum, right? And it's going to come up the back, up the whole spine, all the way up the top of the head, over, down, and into the roof of our mouth, where we're going to be touching with our tongue. And then it's going to come to our tongue and come down the front, all the way down, and then underneath the genitals to the perineum, and then it's just going to keep cycling. Right? So like inhale up, exhale down. And so that chi is just going to cycle and it's going to move and it's going to feel good. All right, so let's get to our center stance, hands on our dantian, palm over palm, feel that connection. Let's do a circle breath. Let's recenter, drawing that chi in from all 5 gates. Yeah, you know what? First thing we're going to do hip circles. So we're focusing on our dantian, gathering all of our chi there, and start to spin it in a circle. That circle start to be expressed by your hips outwardly. Start to draw a bigger circle, keeping the feet rooted flat on the ground, the crown of the head rising up, lifting. And circle it back. To let the chi come out, move down underneath the perineum, and then inhale as it comes up the spine. Head, bringing our tongue to the roof of our mouth. And we exhale as it comes down the front of the line, the front of the chest, through the heart, down to the abdomen, all the way underneath, connecting with the perineum again and inhaling and coming up the backside. Staying in a nice neutral stance, keeping that spine nice and straight, extending in both directions. Let the tip of the tongue fall on the roof of the mouth, right behind the hard palate. Locking out any of your joints. You're not stressing any area of the body, tensing up, staying nice and relaxed. It's chi flow. By forming in your tongue and your mouth by holding your tongue that way, that is good. Keep it there. Don't worry about it. One, when we end, we're going to swallow. Let's do a couple circle breaths here. And focus on really descending the chi all the way down to that dantian. I feel a little lightheaded is the wrong word, but I feel very airy, right? And that's from our chi rising up and settling down. So we just want to take a moment to ground and root and bring that chi back solely to the dantian. Our next one, we're going to bring our hands to prayer position above our head. And then bring the thumbs down to the heart. Hold. Forward, palm over palm. We grasp the dantian. We breathe in. We thank ourselves for coming to practice today. We thank you for coming to practice today. Thank you for honoring your body. We're ending a little early. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And then after class, we will have some Q&A, and we can focus on specific movements if anybody's having anything that they want to focus on. Okay, thank you for coming. That was a perfect class. You were great.